Hello, 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 and welcome to Beauty Pioneers. How is everybody doing today? I am really, really excited today. We have we still talking about the boycott. We I want to go ahead real quick before we even get started into this. And yes, Don will be here. I am your coach, Lee Hill. Let me go ahead and get myself around. Hold on, y'all. Right. All right. And today is, what is this now? June 21st. And we are here still talking about the boycott because there has been progress that has been made. And I think that we need to hear different sides of the story. Dawn will definitely be here in a few minutes. She had an event, so we're gonna she'll join us. And we do have a special guest that is, I guess I would say, a part of the boycott as well. So we're going to be talking to her and seeing how things are going as well. And I want to go ahead and let everyone know, and I'm going to post this video next, um, is that the Beauty Pioneers, our job is to report and talk about the reason why we started this podcast was to talk about the things that go on in the beauty world that a lot of you may not know about. You know, we are here to enlighten you and to educate you, right? And so you get to hear different points of view. I'm kind of glad we have someone here that will be able to, it'll be a different flavor, right? But I want you guys to understand that this boycott, Asian boycott, it has nothing, well, it does have to do with, of course, race, but Beauty Pioneers is not about that. But we will state the facts, we will report it. We will show everything that's going on in the beauty world, how it affects our women, right? Women of color, how it affects us as a community, right? And it's something important that we should talk about. It may be hard to talk about with Beauty Pioneers. This channel is a channel. It some of the topics can be hard to talk about, but they must be talked about because these are the things that you're talking about, but you just don't put it out there. And if you don't expose it or if you don't talk about it, right, you may think one way, and that's not even what the situation is calling for. So once you have an understanding, it actually helps you as the consumer, as a person of service. So if you're a hairstylist, esthetician, nail tech, it actually helps you to get a different point of view. Like either we agreeing with you or you maybe haven't looked at the situation for what it is and what's going on. All right. So right now the boycott is going on and it has been effective. I'm not gonna lie. I have been out and I have walked past the salons, the salons. I have seen even in the food in the restaurants, I have seen an effect, and I'm like, whoa. And I'm just like, I it's great that we're supporting one another. And we're gonna get into that in a little bit. So I'm gonna start off with this video because, like I said, it's not about race, right? It is about the race, but hold on, y'all. What is it doing? Oh, I'm like, what is it doing? All right, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play this first video for you guys. All right, and she kind of sums it up and explains what's actually going on. Here we go.
An Asian content creator got on this here internet wearing what can only be described as a Black American starter kit and decided to tell Black people that our money doesn't matter. Okay. According to him, Black people need Asian-owned businesses more than Asian-owned businesses need Black people. A boycott wouldn't move anything. The loss wouldn't register. Our dollars don't count. Now, this might just be me, but if I genuinely believed that somebody's money didn't matter, I don't think I'd spend my afternoon making a video about it. So naturally, I went looking at the history, because this conversation isn't really about just one video, right? The very second that Black people start talking economics, where our money goes, who profits from it, who builds wealth off our communities, people get uncomfortable. That same discomfort doesn't appear when other groups do the same thing. Every immigrant community that's come to this country has done it. Jewish, Chinese, Korean, Italian, Indian, Armenian, pooling resources building businesses, keeping their money inside their communities for as long as possible. Nobody finds that controversial, though. But what they fail to recognize is that we understood the same thing. We had to. After slavery, Black communities built banks, hospitals, insurance companies, schools, newspapers, whole business districts. The Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma had 191 businesses. It had 2 schools, a hospital, and a library, all by 1921. They called it Black Wall Street. But on May 31st, 1921, a white mob attacked it. 2 days of looting, burning, and shooting. But it's us, right? We're the problem. 35 square blocks destroyed. More than 1,200 Black homes, businesses, schools, and churches, y'all, burned to the ground. World War I era planes dropped bombs from the sky on the Greenwood neighborhood. The official death toll was 36. But we know the estimates were around 300 Black people killed, murdered. The survivors were rounded up and held in internment camps in their own city. They were issued identification cards and couldn't leave without permission from a white supervisor. Insurance companies refused every claim. They had something called a riot clause. Not a single Black resident ever received financial assistance to rebuild. So when somebody gets on the internet and tells Black people that our money doesn't matter, I automatically think they're a dumbass. A racist dumbass. Corporations spend billions chasing Black consumers. Political campaigns spend millions trying to reach Black voters. Entire industries are built around marketing to Black communities. Our money matters. It mattered enough to burn a city for it in 1921. It mattered enough to redline neighborhoods for the next 50 years. It matters enough that every quarter, somebody's profit and loss statement depends on us showing up. Apparently, our money matters right up until we start talking about where we want to spend it. Then all of a sudden, it doesn't. Right? Nobody's entitled to Black customers. We spend our money where we want. That's how markets work. That's how capitalism works. That's how every other community inside this country operates. The fact that this becomes a controversy every time Black people say it out loud tells me that this was never about money. It was about leverage. And this country has been comfortable with Black spending. It's Black leverage that's always made them nervous. But if you know anything about me, you know I love a good challenge. Shop Black. Spend with your people. I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. We gonna show you better than we can tell you. Invest in Black businesses. Build the community. Y'all, we are overdue.
Oh, well. That sister broke it all the way down. And I have another sister that speaks on it as well. And we'll get to her in a little bit. So if you didn't understand what the whole hold on. Hey Don.
Hey there.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh Lord. Hold on. We can't hear you.
Already.
Say something. Can you hear us?
I can hear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. If you can hear me, we can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, so while Don get that together, what I was stating is the fact that she was giving the history of all of the things when they said that our money did not matter. And I remember a few months ago, go out and go back in, Don, see if it'll work then. I remember a few months ago, we did a live on how a lot of us, like when we look at I think I did the live and I was talking about how the Black products that we have, like design essentials and things like that. And then we talked about the different corporations and how they're making billions of dollars. And one of the things that we stress to you is, as Black consumers, especially the Black woman, is that we spend the money. We spend the money. The beauty industry is like a billion, maybe even $1 trillion industry, and it is based on us. One of the things that I talked to Dawn about that I stressed, and I stopped going to the hair shows, because the hair shows, I always think about Bronner Brothers. Bronner Brothers was they They were the ones that started the trade shows, hair shows, right? Y'all don't make me quote the time. I will do a video on it because I'm so fascinated by that. But Bronner Brothers started the the shows, the hair shows, and it was, I think it was a $500 million business for Bronner Brothers, black men, Nathaniel Bronner, right? And they got the brothers, they got the family, everybody involved. And today, when you go into the hair show, you don't see us. If you do see us, we all the way in the back. And I just don't understand, and I still have a hard time understanding why, as we are the biggest consumers, that we are not somewhere on the top, right? Don, that's you again? Hold on. Don, what did you do? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Huh?
Yes.
We can't hear you.
I think you might have me on mute.
We still can't hear you.
You
I
may
don't know
have,
what you did before. Huh?
you may have me on.
Wait, it might be me. Hold on. Wait, hold on. No, it ain't me because it's turned all the way up. So I was bringing that out so you guys can understand like the depth of it's the principle behind it. It's the things that are being said. It was another guy, and I didn't post it on here. He was Asian descent, and he joked about the reason why we have June 19th. Okay. Can you hear me now? You clearing up. It's just the volume. So he said the reason why we had June 19th was because we don't have fathers for Father's Day. And y'all, I had to go and pull up the statistics and let them know that Black fathers lead 70%, 71, maybe 71, 72% in 2026 as great fathers, hands-on fathers, in the home fathers. When I say hands-on, bathing the children, taking care of the children, all these different things. So don't believe the hype in the media. I believe Caucasians are at 60% and so on, but we lead. The men, our men lead in that. So I think that a lot of us have to get to a point where we understand that we do matter. I'm not into the whole Black Lives Matter, but I want you to understand the impact that you make as consumers, as hairstylists, as estheticians, as nail techs, as all of these things. But I do still pay attention to what's going on in our culture. And I've seen a couple of things I'm most likely going to talk about through this week on my Ask a Licensed Cosmetologist channel. But one of the things I pay attention to is that we still struggle with working with one another. We still struggle with pulling each one up. We may be spending the money, but the mindset on the service side, as well as our customers, that's why they're making jokes, because they're like, yeah, you're not going to be able to do it without us. Because one thing you have to think about, they mastered that. A lot of cultures will learn the skills that we have and do it better in service and everything else. And I know you guys don't want to hear that. Like, we have now men, I'm trying to think where they're from. I don't know if they're from Israel or what, that are Don, you all right? Let me see.
I'm here. I just, I can hear you.
I have you on. It's showing you on, but yeah. It's just that part. I don't know what that is. It's something with your volume. I don't know if you need to turn the volume up or what that is. But as I was saying, is that they come over and they're doing the service. I think that in certain areas, we need to do like they do and master the customer service side. Like, and I'm going to do a video on it, the deposits. And I have a video where a young lady's saying, I didn't even know they were doing deposits for nail techs. I'm like, why are you doing deposits for nail techs? To make sure, hold on. Oh, there she go. Hey, Tequila, hold on. Hi, Tequila. How are you?
Hi, I'm great.
Welcome to Beauty Pioneers. Now, see, we can't even hear Tequila. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with Don. We can't hear Don. How are you doing today?
I am better. I can say that.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm so glad you have joined us because I'm still hopefully Don get her hold on. Hold on. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm talking to Don. Side. All right. So we're going to wait for Don. We're not going to wait. We're going to continue on and she'll join us. Okay. All right, Tequila. And can you tell us what type of business that you're in and how long you've been in the business?
Okay, well, hi. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Tequila Fletcher. I'm the owner of Trustaholic Salon and Beauty Supply Store.
What
I am
happened
a
just now? I can't
cosmetologist.
hear her.
I can hear her.
She's good. Oh, she says she's good.
I can hear her. I can hear everyone.
I don't know if she can hear us, Don, because I can hear you just fine.
I can hear Tequila. Tequila, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Tequila can hear me. I can hear you, Lithra.
Now I can't hear her.
I can hear you and I can hear Tequila.
Don, I can only hear you, but I can't hear her.
She's not saying anything. Testing, testing, Tequila.
Can you hear me now, Tequila?
Yes, I can hear everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the mute button was on. All right, all right. So can you start over? Yay, we all made it. All right. So Tequila, can you start over? Tell us about your business and how long have you been in the industry? And we want to welcome you to the stage. Hold on, I got to give you my applause.
Yes.
And welcome Don Ferguson. Oh, wait a minute. What you put on the Coach Don Ferguson?
Okay, well, I'm going to reintroduce myself.
Thank
My name is
you.
Tequila Fletcher. I'm the owner of Trustaholic Salon and Beauty Supply Store that's located in Tampa, Florida. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I have been in the industry for close to about 30 years now. What else? I am a reseller and I also do product sourcing for people, not just in the beauty industry, just any industry in the whole. So I wear a lot of hats.
That's what it sounds like. I love it. I love the fact that you licensed too. So you already know the ins and the outs. That's really, really, really great. So can you tell us how is the boycott going for you and your business at this time?
I can honestly say that it has increased revenue and foot traffic to my store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just been very interesting as far as social media is concerned. I did share some things with Don the other day about some of the things I had been experiencing. I'm in a couple of groups with other black-owned beauty supply store owners, and It's been crazy. It's just a lot that a lot of people who don't realize what's going on our side of the industry that's being an owner. I mean, it's been great for business, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still a lot going on that a lot of people don't even realize.
It's crazy in a good way or in a bad way?
I would say,
Just say it.
I would just say it's on the fence. I'm just kind of shocked about how some um of us brown folks are kind of causing like a division. There's not too many people actually on social media that's actually calling it out, but I have
Mm.
experienced it in a whole on my platforms as far as people, Black Americans. I'm gonna say that
Mm-hmm.
Black Americans not wanting to support foreign Black Americans in the boycott. And
Whoa.
so I'm just like, so when did we start this? I've had
Whoa.
people, I put up a couple videos about, me getting the calls about people wanting to know if I'm in fact Black owned, which was cool. And
Mm-hmm.
it was basically the post of the video, which is a reference of how other um Black store owners can get on the Google and just make sure that they're present and known to be Black owned, because what a lot of people really don't understand is what goes on the back end of when you're placing ads with Google and why other stores are popping up before ours. I understand that I'm not into IT, but I do place a lot of ads, and I do know that there's this thing called SEO, which is search engine optimization. And when they're asking you what keywords are wanting to be used on the tail end,
Mm-hmm.
some of them more than likely are putting Black somewhere added in there, which is why that they're being pulled up as Black owned, which in fact they're not.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes. So that's why a lot of stores and a lot of businesses aren't being found on Google. They may pop up there, but they may not pop up first. They may end up on the second or the third page of Google. And so when I put that information out there, that's when the whole influx of, am I Black American? And I'm like, what? So does that really matter? But for a lot of them, it does. So, just not Black in the whole is there's the division right there. So it's been crazy.
Interesting. Interesting. And so, wow. I thought it, and it's funny because I have a video talking about like how they talked about the Black woman was talking about how she watched when the foreigners come over, how they support each other, how they teach each other the skill, how they make sure they have cars, how they make sure they have a place to live, all these different things. And she was saying, we don't do that, we don't build a community. So I knew, and this is almost like separating the wheat from the tare.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen, separating the wheat from the tare. Because if you come in with that type of mindset and you so focus on, are you Black American or are you Black, then what's going to happen is you're going to miss the whole thing, what's actually going on, where you can actually build together and help one another. You too focused on the nationality of somebody. That is like so narrow minded of our
Yeah.
people. It's really,
Yeah.
really sad. So that is why that Asian man was able to get on there and laugh when we say, oh, we're going to support our own businesses, because we destroy each other from within.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, there is actually, I seen where there in one of the in the communities in the Black owned beauty supply store groups that some of the reps for some of the companies have stopped responding to a lot of them. So I believe some of them are having a hard time trying to replace orders as well. So they've been getting a lot of running around. And so we've been trying to figure out, how can we help assist and aid in those who are close near us, so we can try to make sure that, that some of them are trying to get some of the things they need as well. So it's crazy. Oh my God.
Wait, so you're
Thought
saying
that was
like,
so interesting.
go ahead,
Hmm.
Don. Mhm.
I thought that was so interesting that their response to the boycott was punishing people from reordering products. Like, okay, you want
That's
to
what it looks
boycott
like
us?
is it's happening.
Yeah. Well, okay, you guys want to boycott us? Okay, you can't reorder your product. So you're already a small business. Now you're being punished for standing up, um, for making a choice,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know?
So what is the solution in that now that you guys know that okay they're saying like hey we y'all boycotting us, we're going to boycott you, we're not going to help build your business. So what is the solution? Has anybody came up with any solution in that?
To be completely honest with you, there's
Mhm.
not too many, I would say, black owned distribution companies. They're just not.
Mm.
There's not. There are a few that are out there. Because I actually help other store owners open up stores as well. So I do connect them with my resources. And like I said, there are a few um, black owned distribution companies that are out there. But I mean, sometimes you may find yourself that you can't get everything at once. So you got to have a backup. So it's just like the supply and demand is just kind of what's
Hmm.
just been a struggle from even for me from the beginning. It's just kind of been
Wow.
that thing, I just
Hmm.
get in what I can, so I
Mm.
mean you have some companies that wouldn't even give me direct accounts. So,
Wow.
people come in asking for certain things, I'd be like, yo, I be trying. And
Hmm.
sometimes by the time that I get around to ordering things, it's like I'm getting what's left, because
Um,
even like because the bigger stores they actually are placing orders even before inventory actually hits the warehouses. So a lot of times, like I said,
okay.
by the time that it's time for us to come in and try to look, stuff is like it's not even there.
It's gone.
So
Hmm.
the
So when
only
you I'm sorry, when you say from the beginning, you're talking about just in general
just
or
in
from the beginning?
general, just in
Oh, not
general.
not not pertaining to the boycott,
I
just
mean,
in
so
general.
it's been a struggle since the beginning for some of us.
Right.
And
Wow.
so I think with the boycott, it's going to make things even worse.
Hmm.
Oh. Oh.
Because remember when Chris Rock did that movie Bad Hair, and
Mm-hmm.
he was saying that he did a segment where they were black entrepreneurs and stylists were saying that we're not even allowed to become buyers. We can't even go in and
Mm-hmm.
purchase, buy product to sell to our people. They wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
allow us in. So when he exposed that, they kind of kind of shamed them, and they kind of allowed a lot of, few African American people or, black folks into the market. But for a long time, we were not allowed into the market to sell. So we began to create our own products like Bronner Brothers. Bronner
Right.
Brothers was creating their own products they were the first that I knew of that had that sold black owned and produced products, them and Dudley,
Mm.
from back in the day. And you could barely find the product. They're not doing any relaxers anymore. They only have the spritz or the popular items. When you look at Bronner Brothers, the BB spritz, to pump
Right.
it up.
Right.
They only kept like the hard products. No relaxers. I don't think you can really find on the market
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And it was just so hard. Like we could I remember Design Essentials, they sent out a batch of relaxer, and it was just completely like a lot of breakage at one time. And the manufacturers had switched. Someone had stole a product. It was a lot of inside stuff, even with dealing with them and the product consumption, making and producing the product. So it's very challenging to you create something and you can't hold on to it or you can't keep it. It's just it won't last 50 years, which is I don't know why, you know, look at Madam C.J. Walker, $1 million, $1 trillion company, and
Mm.
we can barely make even. When we
Right.
go out and purchase the products, we have to sell it to such a large price. Like I had to place a makeup order, and what it took to place the makeup order, I had to break the makeup down to the least common denominator in order to make it affordable for the consumer. That means no packaging. You know what I'm
Man.
saying? Yeah, no packaging, just the pan. It literally, it was like, you know, this is where we are. And in terms of, I would like to produce and sell my own product. So I understand where you are and where you're going, you know, in
So
terms of demand and supply.
so let's be realistic with this. Now we do know that the US itself, everything they depend on China. They
Mhm.
depend on, so you know what I mean? So that was the other joke, was how are you going to boycott? And I think that it's important that, and when we make those decisions, and that's good that we're putting it into our own community.
Mhm.
However, we still have to understand the consequences of those actions. And if you understand the consequences of the actions, then we have to figure out how can we connect with each other and get these products that we need. And when you
Right.
say that, that's the other thing I was curious. What do you mean when you say like it's hard to get it? Are you talking about hair extensions,
I
wigs?
mean, well, I honestly, I've been selling raw hair for close to 20 years. I go to China, so I have direct relationships with them, and also in India. But as far as like that's nothing to get for me. But
Right.
I mean, when it comes to pack care, like your Empire, your Sensuals, when you talk about your hair care products, from your olive oil brands to your Cantu to your whatever, those things are the hardest to get. It's not so much with the manufacturers overseas that's always been the issues. It's the issues of the companies that are US based. I
Mm,
did an
Mhm.
interview back when I was first opening in my store that actually went viral. And I was on a lot of podcasts, and I kind of talked about the struggles of me actually trying to get accounts, trying to get products, trying to get, I was getting a whole lot of no's, no, 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 no's, but never really understand why.
right.
And so when the interview went viral, a lot of companies caught wind of it. And I feel like the only reason why a lot of them reached out to me and started sending reps to my stores, because I think they were afraid that I was going to start mentioning names. And I mean black and Asian brands. And
Wow.
still to this day, I have emails to prove it. And it was so disheartening to me that my own was afraid that I was going to name names, and that was the only reason why that y'all was going to give me the account. I declined it. I feel like the only way, honestly, that we can get past a lot of this stuff is that we try to find manufacturer of goods here in the U.S. that are brown and minority owned, so that we're able to develop more of our own brands and so forth and so on. And a lot of these brands that are on the market aren't even owned by black folks. They
Right.
may have chemists, they may have people,
Mm-hmm.
they may have stylists. I do product testing. I used to be a product tester.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I understand how that side of the industry works. And what makes the difference in a lot of this as well is price point. A
Mhm.
lot of the black owned brands that are actually on the market are almost twice the amount of everybody else.
Right. Because
Mm.
you have to make your money back,
Which
right?
Right.
is true.
And
Which is
you have to
true.
you have to make your money back. And they're saying, well, why are you guys so expensive? The Chinese or the Asian person can afford that price because they're ordering in volume. They are dealing with a like-minded person, right? Not to say that
Right.
we are not, but they're already dealing with a people that are going to support them, right? Some
Right.
stylists back in the day had to hire their Asian nail tech to place their order back in the day to the suppliers because they wouldn't talk to them, right?
Mm.
Had to
Mm-hmm.
hire their nail techs. I know this young lady that was selling hair. She was like, I have to go with my nail girl down there so she could translate for me because they would think that I'm working for her, right?
Right.
So that she would be able to purchase the hair. I ordered this is my little new palette,
Oh,
guys. I don't know if you
yay.
I had to break it down
Yay.
to this to just the pan and the magnetic pan to make it sellable.
Whoa.
To make it affordable for the consumer. I was not able to purchase like how I did before in order to move the product. It's just amazing how they've made it so difficult to for entrepreneurs to pursue the dream. Like you can pursue the dream, but you're not gonna get rich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they came in and they pretty much, I was just talking before you ladies had came on about
Uh,
how we used to go to hair shows. And a hair show, when I used to go to Bronner Brothers, I was like, it was good to see your own, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
mhm.
and then for some type of way, as the years went on, it just, you don't see us, you know what I mean? You
Yes,
see us, we
yes.
way back. And so it's really disheartening. But again, how do we, I guess, and I know we can't do this in 1 hour podcast, but
Mhm.
I'm so glad that you came on, Tequila, and kind of shed some light on what's going on. It's good for people to see. It's sometimes it's your own. You know, I'm
Listen.
gonna be. I remember, I think I said this before, where I was working in a salon and it was an all Jamaican. Everybody was Jamaican, and she took Miss Vivine. She took me under her wing, and she was like, listen, I need you to she had so many clients, and where we lived in Oviedo, Florida, it was predominantly Caucasian, right? And she was like, I need you to come in here, I need you to do the relaxers, so on and so forth. And when I first got there, that first week, it was really slow, and I was like, man. And she was just busy, busy, busy. And she had to start telling them her mom is Bahamian. And when she told them that my mom was Bahamian, guess what? I had a clientele instantly. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm born and raised at Jackson Memorial Hospital down here. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? But it was just that my features or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. But when I look
Mhm.
within our people, if you have the Haitian salons, a lot of Haitian people, they'll go to the Dominican salons because that's what's wrong. So we are separated within. So if we're separated from within, how do we support one another from outward? You know what I'm saying? Let me real
Yep,
quick comment. Hey
that's
Keisha,
Keisha.
hey ladies.
Hey,
Um,
Keisha.
how are y'all doing this evening? It's good to see y'all. It's good to see you, Dawn. That's Keisha.
Thank you.
She said your Keisha say she love your shades. Beautiful shades, Dawn.
Oh, thank you. My palette, my makeup
Ah,
palette. Yes, honey. I'm gonna
uh-huh.
push through with them. It's
And
called
then
my Power Pack.
what they call Dawn?
My Power Pack. I
Power
went back
pack.
in the lab. Yeah, I said I was gonna put together all power colors.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? So I put some on tonight, but Letha's gonna help me. Coach Lee is gonna help me put together my makeup tutorial. I'm gonna put my big girl panties on. Keisha, so watch out now because I'm coming.
All right. And then she says, all skin folks ain't kinfolk, just
Yes.
say. So that is unfortunate that you're here and to say that. And for so long, I was shocked to hear that. I don't think I really know any do we have any beauty supply stores here in Miami like that are black owned?
No, tequila was the first that I've heard of. I know, well, not the first that I've heard of. I met one lady in DC and in
Hmm.
Houston
Hmm.
and of course Atlanta. But tequila is the closest that I know of in terms of a black owner of a beauty supply store.
Right. Now,
And
if you
you're in
guys,
Tampa, right?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa. There's about through four of us. One of the ladies, she actually downsized, and so she doesn't sell like, like your Cantu brands or anything like that. It's more
Mhm.
of your smaller independent companies. Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of went in that direction. But as far as like full fledged supply owner, I believe there's about three of us here. I mean, I know of a girl that's in Jacksonville. I know there's a girl in Lakeland.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know where the viewers are, but they're kind of spread out, and I just feel
Mhm.
like we need to be a little bit more intentional in how we shop.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem. I feel like we all at some point have been guilty of that because
Mhm.
I know I can, you know what I mean? And it's just like we do it, just not even realize what we're doing, especially now. I think with the boycott, I
Mm-hmm.
think it has really woken a lot of us up and said, hey, we all need to do better. Because I
Right.
can remember a time before I opened my own store that I wasn't looking for us. So, like I said, I'm guilty of that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I could say that out loud with myself.
Right.
Um, I had a customer that came into the store the other day, and she shared with me how her mother used to own a nail shop, back in the day. And at the time, she was kind of like the only one. I believe that they were living in California. And she said this was, well before, the Asians came in and they started opening up shop. But when they did, a shift happened.
Mm-hmm.
And what she said to me was a lot of the times that when they came in and they started doing the full sets for, I don't know how many years ago this was, but I know she was saying like the full sets were going for like $12, $15. And of course, ours obviously was a little bit more pricier than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we finished up our conversation. I sat there and I went to thinking, who's to blame?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm one of them people, I kind of look at things from a different lens. Like I love my people as dark as I am, baby. I love my people.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm a businesswoman first. And when I help
Right.
people open up businesses, the first thing I ask them is who is their audience. And
Mm.
I say, let's really think about this.
Right.
Let's pull color, let's pull race, let's pull ethnicity up out of the
Right.
equation. If what you're offering, whether it's goods or services, and it's catered towards a certain market of people, where would you put the business? So whether they're Asian, Arab, or Black, if you're selling ethnic products, why would you open up a store in a Caucasian white neighborhood? Makes no sense,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right.
So this is the question that I have. And as a matter of fact, I said I was going to make a video and some content about this week because I needed to really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to blame? Was it the United States of America who gave them the funding to open the businesses in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the people who chose to stop patronizing the blacks just to save $2?
Mm.
Who's
Um.
to blame? Who's to blame in this? So I feel like some of us have to learn how to take accountability for what we chose to do. That's just like them putting a Chinese restaurant in our neighborhoods. I said, Lord, we so greedy. Black people so greedy, we almost will try anything. Because the first thing they say, well, they don't eat our food. Well, we didn't have to eat theirs either. But
Right.
what did we do? We went and gave them our money. So at the same
Ooh,
time, this
home.
does not apply to all of us, but there is a lot of us
Mm.
that choose to be on this train ride and not taking no accountability.
But I want to say something to that too,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that you brought that up, Tequila. That's a very, very good point. Like, who's to blame? I think everyone is to blame. I think that this is something that I was like, I was just telling Don. I was like, I didn't know nail tech start set do deposits, right? And I was like, I went and looked it up. I was like, why did they start doing deposit? They were saying COVID-19 came, and so like they were like making sure that it was locked in. And I was saying to myself, why don't they just they are the blueprint is already there. They are showing you how they do their services. So why not just do the blueprint? Right? So the blueprint I'm just using for example, when you go to a nail salon, there is you rarely, only time you waiting is first of all, they're gonna have every booth filled, right, of their people.
Mhm.
They're gonna have every booth filled. Now you have the Hispanics in there, I see that, and I see a couple of black girls in there, but for the most part they're gonna have every booth filled, right? They have appointments, you can make an appointment. I've never, and I'm telling you, I've never and ever heard them say what you make a deposit. You come in. They don't worry about if you come or if you don't come. You know why? Because they got a system where they have walk-ins, right? So they have walk-ins. They're not doing all this marketing or whatever, but they have a system set up where no matter what, you walk in here, we're gonna be able to service you. Somebody gonna be able to do your eyebrow, which they shouldn't be able to do. Somebody gonna do your lashes. We're gonna do your feet. Oh, you want full set and you want pedicure? The first thing they say, you want pedicure? Yes. Okay, go get a pedicure. Why I'm doing that? Let me hurry up. They don't take all day to do now. So I'm like, why do y'all rewrite things when it's right there in your face how to do the business? So I want to
Right.
point that out, that we are to blame.
Rearrange the blueprint.
Right. It's like you see it's working for them.
Well,
So
a lot of that has to
Right.
do with price. You got to remember the way that the Asians work. Everything is volume at low cost. That's
uh,
why when you have to place an MOQ with them, which is
mhm.
your minimum of quantity, there, in order for them to make sense to them, you have to buy a lot for them because the
Right.
production. You got to there's very systematic people. That
Mhm.
means that they make
Mm-hmm.
money off of volume and speed,
Right.
and they can get them in and they can get them out. That means they might have
Right.
skipped a couple steps, might have rubbed your finger too hard or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But we are willing to pay for speed and
Right.
cheapness
So why we not copying the blueprint?
because it ain't no money. There's no money. Now we have a salon here in
Uh-huh.
Tampa
Uh-huh.
that I think they went viral, and when I looked at their prices, I was utterly surprised.
I spend money when I go to the nail salon and I'm in and I'm out. And I
Right.
spend over
It's
$100.
speed.
So
We just haven't mastered speed, and that's the problem. Cause first of all, we gonna do your nails, but we ain't doing your feet. So
oh my
now
God.
I got to go do my nails with Sister Girl, and then I got to go get my
Come
feet over
on.
here with the with
Uh-uh.
the with the China man because they don't want to do feet. So now I got to
Right.
run across town to do different places. A lot of people are just not willing to do
Mm-hmm.
that. They're
Mm-hmm.
just not willing to do it.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You hit the nail on the head. I just wanted to bring that out because I'm looking and I'm like, the mindset too is like, that's why I say too, we have to teach business skills and we have to teach people skills and we have to, the blueprint is there, right? And that's even I say this even with hairstylists. Some of them should not be charging deposits. Did you see the one where the police had to come because the girl took the person's deposit, the young lady's deposit to get her hair done? She cancels the appointment, says she has an emergency. The girl see her at the restaurant eating with her family. So the girl goes in and like, can I get my deposit back? And I was like, oh,
What?
I thought yeah, and I thought when you pay a deposit, you're paying a deposit and the money go towards your bill. But apparently it doesn't. I was like, oh,
Mm-mm.
so you
Mm-mm.
charging a deposit? And the girl like, oh, with my family, and she just carrying on. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you? We're to blame. So
Wh-
as go ahead, Tequila, let me just make this one
Go no.
point.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Go
when
ahead.
we say support black businesses, and I know y'all don't like me because I just had a lady do it, talking about she did a blowout and the relaxer was all the way to the ends, and she said her hair looked straight because I did a blowout and then I did a virgin relaxer. And I'm like, I'm not here to tear us down, but to enlighten and to educate, right? This is how we build each other up, and we don't want to change. We don't want to grow. We don't want to be criticized. We don't want to be corrected. And it's a lot of bad
No.
business going on. And then y'all say support black business. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
supporting any black business if you're doing some y'all know what mess.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
I put people on. this page when I'm doing my videos and stuff, because I love what they're doing, right? But a lot of us don't have integrity. A lot of us don't have morals. I'm like, so you take it. Wait a minute. So it's it's hairstylists that are taking, when they tell you the deposit is not going towards the bill. What is wrong with y'all? And then you disrespecting the young lady. She said, well, just give me back my money. You canceled on her.
Yeah.
We got this all twisted up. So I love the boycott.
Entitlement.
Yes, I love that boycott that we're boycotting. But what are we running to?
Yeah.
What are we running to?
Right.
Like,
It's
what
alternative.
kind of business do you have? Do you respect my time? Do you respect my money? Do you respect me as an individual? What do you want? I don't care if your skin is black. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care if it's white, I don't care what color, brown, whatever. I need the respect, and I need you to not do the hood stupid stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You can't do a boycott. It doesn't measure up. The math not mathing, where you're asking for people to support the business, but you're still giving out trash customer service. Them people who y'all telling them to walk away from, them people be sitting right there when you open
Yeah.
the door. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody canceling. They're not canceling. They not which one? They about their business. You know why? Because they got to bring in more of their people to build them up.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I had to rant.
We
Okay.
will
Oh,
support now.
girl,
I know,
listen.
but we will we. I've had great support. I sell out of when the salon was open. I sold out of my makeup and I was booked. I am still I still get clients today,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not even in the salon like that, but I still get referrals today. My point is we do support. Like I don't
Right.
want to be where black people don't support. They not this. They we do. Because 90% of my career and my business has been from black women. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't say that they don't support because they've supported me. We are looking for quality service
Right.
and respect
Mm-hmm.
my dollar. I don't want to be here all day. Old school business. Where is your sense of integrity?
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays they're not operating with no sense of integrity anymore. That's not integrity. You take that lady money and you and cancel on her. You're a thief. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're a scammer. You're here providing and offering services that you're not even qualified to do. Why are you putting in a relaxer and you're not qualified or have a cosmetology license? You just
No.
have a braider's license. So a lot of um, you know unhealthy practices and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of dishonest people have maneuvered their way into the industry, and you have like a falsehood. So the consumer doesn't know who and what to trust. They don't know that you're not licensed to put in a chemical or a color. They don't
Right.
know because you're in the public space offering beauty services. They don't know that your nail technician needs another license to arch your eyebrows. That's why you got third-degree burns on your face because your nail tech don't know that that wax is too hot because she doesn't have a license to perform such services. She only has a license to work on your hands and your feet. So as a consumer, I don't know that because I've already established a relationship with her because she's doing my nails. So when she said, "Oh, you want your eyebrows done?" Right? You say
Right.
yes because you already trust her to do your nails. You don't think that she doesn't. You don't think or know that she doesn't have to have a license, but she's operating in a sense of falsehood. She
Right.
know that she shouldn't be putting no wax or tweezer on your eyebrows because she's not licensed to do so, but she's going to get the dollar because you're already in the chair and you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So there's no lines of integrity anymore when it comes to providing beauty services.
Let me point this out real quick, Don, that you brought out. That's another thing. So for the stylist or the specialty licensed people that keep telling people, get your license in an hour. That right there, that goes to show you these people that are licensed, these nail techs, they doing it all.
Right.
They are doing it all, right?
Yep.
And that is something that we need to look at. Now, I want to say this too. I talk about that part because when I look on social media, I see the people that saying support Black businesses. Then you go to the business, and you know, is the math not mapping a lot of times. But I will say this: just as much as we have just as many of these bad apples, we have just as much, if not more, professional Black women that service thousands of Black professional men and women on a
Yeah.
daily basis. So I
Yes.
do want to point that out. But we're talking about the boycott, and when Tequila was talking about the fact that within, it just brought up some of the things that's not the only thing that's happening. So if you're dealing with that from within, then when does it stop? You know, when do we understand this is a very, that video that I posted where the girl was talking about the Tuskegee, where they said it was 36 people that died, but it was more of 300. They had churches, they had all these businesses, and they dropped bombs.
Mm.
So the impact in that time, the mindset of our people in that time was very powerful. Okay. We were on one accord. We were building, and they destroyed that. Okay. So there is a there is a community of people, of our people, that don't think the way that a lot of these business owners that don't have integrity, they don't think that way. We're figuring out a way to grow that. And even with you, Tequila, I'm praying that somebody watches this and know, like, hey, okay, so what, they're not able to get the progress, somebody here and say, you know what, let's go ahead and see if we can do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we're going to build. We have to learn to trust one another, and we have to learn to build. We're not in competition with each other.
Absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Let me read what Keisha was talking about. I hope we do better. The world is changing, and this is such a great opportunity to break through, to go to the next level. Absolutely, Keisha. That's what I'm saying. Like, all
Yeah.
right. And then so she said, yes, sis, we all need to do better. She was talking to Tequila.
Yeah.
And then she says, I never forget, I went to the nail shop years ago to get my eyebrows done. And I befriended a lady who was caught up in their system to get over here. And she was working, not getting paid every order.
Mm-hmm.
Now I had that. I was working in a Pakistan Indian salon, and they have people that they come over and they hold their papers,
Mhm.
and they have them working for free. And I had a girl who, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them, they're
Human
arranged
trafficking.
marriages. Yeah, she was a young girl. She had like 5 kids, and she was asking me to help. I'm like, baby, I don't know how to, I don't know how to
Right.
help you. You know, I was young myself. I'm like, honey, I don't even know what that's about. You know. Keisha also says went towards her paying off her debt to get over here illegally. Yeah, a lot of them do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, Here's one more. Um, People put on braces and have never gone to the dental school. And now they doing that now. They call them
What?
basement braces. Yeah, they
Mhm.
doing that right here in Florida. I know right here in Broward County, honey. I ain't gonna say no names. We also have to want more for cheaper and get quality service. This includes being licensed. That's what you were saying, being licensed. Okay. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
Don, hold on. Keisha just put, yes, Don, that's what it is. Trafficking. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
we do see that, but their communities, like the man said, it's we need to take from them, and we need to understand that it's not working what we're doing. If we have that mindset, if you are one of those hairstylists that have that mindset that you want it quick, you want it easy, you don't want to pay, you don't want to go to school long, then that's probably most likely this is not the career for you. The beauty world is not the career for you. Because when we were in school, I know each one of you can testify. We couldn't wait for the next day to see what we was gonna learn. You know what I mean? We were laying in
Mm-hmm.
bed going over the haircut we did. Or did I, what she said, what was the primary color so I can get this? How do I, you know what I mean? How do I do this color correction? We were hungry. We loved it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? It was a community of women and men that love the beauty industry, and we don't see that today. Today it is about a dollar.
Literally.
Yeah, it's about a dollar,
I
and then
think
it's
they're
about.
literally.
Go ahead, Don.
Mhm. Go ahead. I think a lot of the community is illiterate. So
Mm,
it's when you go to cosmetology school or when you think to go right, it's because of the aesthetics of the industry. And when
mm-hmm.
you actually enroll in beauty school, you have to deal with the science of the industry. So a lot of them get lost and it's boring, and they be like, "Oh, the teacher's not teaching me anything," and I
Mm-hmm.
know more than her. This type and the next, and it's not that the teacher is not teaching you anything. She's teaching you to pass state board. That's why
Right.
so many they're finishing the course with just a certificate, but they can't pass state board because
Mm,
they are illiterate. They
right.
have a reading comprehension problem. They don't know how to read. They miss the theory on the relaxers, right? The anatomy, the science behind the cuticle and the scalp and the structure of the hair and what
Right.
the relaxer really does for the hair, right? Because now they have to go in and they have to really understand the cuticle, the cortex, the
Right.
medulla, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, what that got to do with a hot curl, and what that got to do with a with a pin curl, and we're not pin curling no hair no more. They're all using the aesthetics, the weaves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're really not applying the theory to the natural hair. So they become, oh, what is this? I'm just putting on a wig. You know what I'm saying? So the disconnect from theory to practical
Mm-hmm.
is where I think we lose them in terms of cosmetology. Because back in the day, you didn't go to cosmetology school because you couldn't read. You wasn't doing
Right.
hair because you couldn't read. You was
Mm-hmm.
doing hair because you could read.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So we could read, and we did well with reading comprehension and theory and things like that. But reading comprehension now is like an all time low. So it's very
Mm,
challenging for them when it comes to learning the science part of the industry because it reading is fundamental. So it's really, I think it's literacy. A
mm-hmm.
lot of them they just can't read and they can't comprehend the verbiage and make the connection to as it relates to hair itself. And
Right.
I think once you're able to do that, you'll be able to cross the bridge from black, white, green, purple. You don't see hair
Mm-hmm.
as a culture or a
Right.
color. You know what I mean? You see it as a collective. So I think the industry is in the state that it's in because of the literacy issues that we have. That's my
Well,
personal take
well,
as a
to keep out,
teacher because it's like okay, because you realize that okay, this baby just can't read. She's extremely
right.
talented, but she can't read. So I kind of spot those things. They're very visual learners. You know what I mean? You show them what to do on YouTube, they pick it up right away. But you give them the textbook and have them to read the theory and take the theory and transform it into the practical. They can't do that.
Mm. Tequila, I want you to
Mhm.
respond after and your take on the beauty industry.
Mhm.
I did want to point out that this whole shift that's going on now, where the Trump administration is like holding these schools accountable, right? And it was funny because I watched this video where it was um two people, two hairstylists, and they were saying, "Baby, I went to the one say, oh, you went to the Yale or you went to the Oxford of schools. I went to Paul Mitchell. And I'm like, huh? And Paul Mitchell has done a lot of great things in the world, but Paul Mitchell, from what I knew with the stylist, so I went in the comments, and them hairstylists was like, "Child, I ain't learned nothing out of that school. You know, you just went because of the name, the brand, right?" And
Mm-hmm.
so, Don, you are absolutely right. But what's going to happen is it's going to be a shift because they're going to start. You see how they saying like now they checking the schools and they taking funding from the schools. These people that saying like, oh, all you gotta do is get your specialty license, get it in one day, and all that stuff. They're gonna start cracking down on that stuff too. Something gonna happen where they gonna put their hands on that. Trust me. So all of the a lot of the hairstylists that are not that are known that take care of hair, that believe in hair care, that believe in or the beauty supply stores that sell the products that you need, all these different things, that is going to be going more in your favor because it puts the light on people, right? It puts the light on you and it shows, oh, you're not, oh, that's all you got is aesthetics. You have no
Mm-hmm.
clue on what you're talking about. You have
Mm-hmm.
no the writing is going to be on the wall. And then for those
Awesome.
people who was 10 years ago, I saw a girl the other day. She took out the quick weave. She said the girl's wearing a quick weave back to back. That's why she has hair loss. That's what
Mm-hmm.
that those are the things. She has hair loss, right? And she took the girl hair out or whatever, and she said, I recommend you don't get no braids. Her hair was fine, it was just breaking and all these different things. She did it the right way. Those type of hairstylists, people are gonna be like, let me go to her. You know what I'm saying? Where you educate them, say, do everything in moderation. You know what I mean? And then you won't
Mm-hmm.
have the issues we have. Tequila, I want you to go ahead and expound on how do you feel about your industry? You're still in the beauty world. You're a licensed cosmetologist as well. How do you see the beauty world right now?
What I feel like is going on is, I mean, it's a lot to be completely honest with you, and then just to even piggyback on why people have started to do the whole deposits. I don't make it mandatory, but for some I do.
Mm-hmm.
And but there are stipulations on that. Now, the incident about the girl can't like the stylist canceling, that's an integrity thing. She might even
Right.
had it somewhere to where that yes, the deposit will go towards the service. I mean, I have a policy that if I, depending upon the service and the amount of time that goes into that service, and yes, you have to pay me a non-refundable deposit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the deposits kind of started going into place because of cancellations. You all know as well as I know that we don't get PTO. So that means for every
Right.
cancellation, that means that there's revenue lost.
Right.
Now, I do feel like I don't feel like deposits are of a bad things. I feel like I mean you have good and bad in this world. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have people who are gonna make good on what they do, and then you're gonna have people who want to do the BS, the ones
Mm-hmm.
that are scamming. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're making people pay deposits and you showing up to addresses that are not there. So it's just there's a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like there's a lot of people that are very misinformed about even
Mm-hmm.
how to go about finding the right stylist and the whole deposit thing and the yada 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 yada. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's not mandatory for me, but for some, yes. But I feel like even like with like Florida, so even with them not even having to, you don't even have to have a braiding license anymore to even to braid in Florida. I mean,
Right.
there's fine lines with that. I feel like the head of the salon, the salon owners, I feel like the majority of them or some of them need to start putting their foot down and make sure that if you're a braider, then you're a braider. You're not a braider who will install wigs and bleach knots and
Mm-hmm.
and trim ends and do all of that. You know what I mean? Because at the
Right.
end of the day, if State
Right.
Pro walks in, they catch it, everybody get fined. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just feel like, as they said, we got to get back to the basics. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
more of us who are professional, who are seasoned stylists, and
Mm-hmm.
need to start getting back online because obviously that's the wave.
Right.
I just recently
Mm-hmm.
started getting back into content creating back in
Mm-hmm.
January because I realized that how important that I feel like I need to be. I feel like I need to start contributing more to that. And when I started to push my videos and the comments and the response on new and old has
Mm-hmm.
been very positive. So you have those young stylists and those people who just
Mm-hmm.
want to know. A lot of
Right.
them are just working blind. I have a lot of girls coming to my salon because I do partnerships. I've been doing partnerships with other stylists and salons for the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So not only am I a reseller, I'm a wholesaler to a lot of people as well, because some of them never had the ability to get into selling bundles,
Right.
and they just didn't have the money, and because they trust me, they buy from me. I never disclose who they are, etc., etc. I now do wholesale with other braiders and stuff like that who include hair. So anytime that they come into my salon, or any type of content that I'm putting out now, it is about how to charge, how to break things down, because they just don't know. So
Right.
that's why I say it's up to us who
Mm-hmm.
do know
Mm-hmm.
to start sharing the
Mhm.
information, because some people just ain't been taught. I always tell people I didn't always get it right.
Right.
I had to learn. I
Right.
just been in a very, very long time, and I seen what the tongue can do, what being non-professional can do,
Mm-hmm.
how it can actually put a damper on your business. As I
Right.
tell people all the
Absolutely.
time, you may be great at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
but because of how your responses, how you act, and so forth, can put a damper on your business. And if I see something, I'm like the mama on Instagram. I follow they butts. And if I see something I feel like it's inappropriate, baby, I jump into their inbox and be like, you need to cut that out.
Right.
Because like I say, they don't always have somebody that's gonna show them. They got the talent,
Right.
but ain't nobody telling them when they wrong. Now you gonna have them ones that's
Mm.
gonna,
They got to be
kind of just
receptive.
deal with them
Right.
because they do good hair, and people are willing to sit in the chairs. And like I tell people, you like being abused,
That's
because
right.
ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna sit in somebody's chair because they do good hair and be abused. And so,
Right.
like I say, accountability,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we, like I say, we as beauty professionals, we need to get in and start like saying, hey, this is how we act. This is
Mm-hmm.
what you're supposed to say. This is how you're supposed to say it. Because I have even stylists that work in my salon. They'll be like, Tequila, how do I handle this? I
Mm-hmm.
this client said this. How should I respond? Or I have homegirls that are doing their thing, and sometimes they'll still call me up and be like, Tequila, now, do you think I was wrong? So, like I said, even though we've been in this a long time, sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
still need to be checked ourselves, like making sure that I didn't say something that was inappropriate. Let me learn for this, because maybe I can,
Right.
kind of, do whatever next time, just in case if the same situation may come about. And so I just feel like a correction needs to be had on all levels of this industry, whether
Mm-hmm.
you are a store owner, you are a, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you were in the food industry or not. There's just a lot that just has to be done. And like I say, people have to start taking more accountability for their actions, and just learn just how to do better. As they say, when you know better, we hopefully will do better.
Yeah.
The
And the
industry
thing is, the
overhaul.
key. Yeah.
Yeah.
The key thing is, and that's great that you. I agree 100% with everything you said. The only thing is we have to be
Hmm.
willing to be corrected and be willing to change. And that's where the whole sweets came in at. People don't want to, like John was talking about, that's why they're doing these sweets, because then they don't have anybody correcting them or telling them what to do. They feel like they don't need continuing education, right?
Well, hence
And
too why that
mhm,
we can't be systematic just the way that like the Asians and the Koreans are. Like you
right,
say, you
right.
walk in a salon, they got 20 tables, 10 chairs, two
Yep,
wax stations in the back, and somebody doing eyelashes.
right,
Suites only
They
consist of
doing
one
business.
person.
right.
Well, that's right, Tequila. It's
All
the
right.
salon suite is a singular failure when it's one
Yep,
person. It's
yep.
only one person. You cannot
Hmm.
succeed one person. So the suite situation is it pushes individuality or solo career. And we already know
Yeah.
how far a solo career can get you,
But how you doing a
right? Because
solo
you're the
career? You
you're the
fresh out
you're the
of school. You fresh out of you. You ain't even been
you
in the
you
game
you have
five
no way to
years.
well, you're not even putting in the time. The thing with cosmetology is it's not like college where you do 4 years and that's it, or you go in and you get your doctorates and that's it. it's a constant elevation. If you're
Right.
going to be in the beauty industry, um your seat, you have to do your continued education every other year. That's what the state
Mhm.
requires, right?
Right.
And if
Right.
your license is in good standing for 10 years, you're exempt from continued education, so you just have to
Right.
renew your license. But no one is forcing you to be accountable for your skill set. If
Mm.
I don't put any pressure on you to invest in your career, you're not going to do it, right? So it's no one forcing you to better yourself. You have to have that within yourself to want to take a cutting class, to want to take
Right.
a weaving class. You have to have the initiative to self invest. And a lot of them don't. They go to the school because they were doing hair at home, or they were able to maneuver and do some things at home. And they said, okay, I'm talented enough playing around with some hair. Let me go to beauty school and let's see how far it takes me. And when they really realize how much they have to pour into
Mhm.
themselves, because
Mhm.
remember, you have to pour into yourself in
Right.
order to produce what you need to produce for the consumer, right? The beauty of cosmetologist is it's about you. It really
Right.
is. How well are you doing in order to perform these particular services on the consumer? You yourself have to be at a certain skill set, at a certain mental aptitude to even execute on this particular level. That's why you see some platform artists, when you go to the trade shows, you be like, wow, how are they able
Mhm.
to execute at such a platform, right? Because they invested in the craft. They stood in the mirror.
Right.
They have about 30 million mannequins that they done chopped did this cut on. So by the time they hit the stage, they're executing at such a level till you're like, oh wow. Nobody wants to take a cutting class, right? They just say, well, this is what she did. They go on YouTube, or they wherever it is that
Right.
they go to get this particular skill set, and they want, and that's it. Whereas we all know, as great stylists, you have to pour into the craft
Mhm.
always. There's no off button. It's a constant investment until you just say, I'm out of here.
Right. Let me finish this off, and then we're all done, ladies. I want to thank you both. Of course, Don, my ride or die on this platform. We educating
Thanks,
and
Tequila.
um
Welcome.
Keisha says many people want to cut corners and want something for nothing. Everything that
Hmm.
is cheap is not good.
Yep.
Also, Don is on it. Literacy is at an all-time low, and that makes a huge difference. Okay. And then she says, you all are preaching and teaching tonight. We on it, honey. We stay on it because and that's the key point. It is not to tear down our community, but
Yeah.
you got to call it out. You got to put some light on it in
Hmm.
order for people to be able to be like, you
Yeah.
know what, I need to change this. It's not working. It's not working. And
Hmm.
back to the deposit, I'm gonna leave it at that. I absolutely agree. I think that some deposits, when you're doing deposit, it is necessary. Even in the high end salons that I worked in, when you come in and you start talking about extensions, you have to pay the deposit. And most of the times, the deposit is you're paying for your hair, and you're gonna pay for that, maybe that hour or two, right? So that's how they do that, right? So I definitely agree with that. But I think there's a lot of people, a lot of hairstylists that do not have that integrity, right? And they're
Hmm.
just charging deposit because everybody else charging the deposit. But to say that the deposit doesn't go to the service, you know what I mean? That's kind of weird. That's, to me, I don't think that's good business. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm just
Good.
like, yeah, that's crazy. Like
Hmm.
that lady was dismissing that lady. I was like, y'all gonna mess around and y'all gonna mess with the right one, and it's not going to be a good sight. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So we definitely have to step up our game, and like Tequila say, when we know, teach one. We got to teach, and we got to
Each
be an
one teach
example.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Ladies, I
Yeah.
want to thank you. Keisha, thank you for tuning in tonight. Please like, share,
Hmm.
subscribe. We appreciate you all. Beauty Pioneers, Dawn, love you to pieces.
Tequila.
Tequila,
Lindor.
shout out. Mhm. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end this. All right, ladies, great job today. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.